And we are live. Emma Cox, it's delightful to see you again. I'm so glad to see you healthy. At least I will tap dance if you start to cough. That is a promise. Welcome, Linda Tether. I was just telling Emma, I knew that for sure one person we could be counting on to be there for us is you, love it, Linda. Thank you so much for joining. We are in an odd day and time. In Hello, Paula. Lovely to see you joining us as well. Paula, of course, was a speaker for us during the Kathy's Corner postcard episode. Was that just last week? It's been so busy. Maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know. It's here we are in December and things are all happening much too fast. Emma Cox is my very special guest today on Projectkin Live in anticipation of our program on Thursday, rescheduled. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome. Rescheduled from our usual slot on Friday because, of course, viruses happen. So, welcome, Emma. You have a very exciting program planned for us on Thursday. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Hi, Barbara. Thanks for having me on today and everything. And sorry, my voice is a little bit croaky. I'm pretty much there. It's just the last lingering effects, hopefully. So yes, I've got to do something where I thought it would be just something a little bit different this time and something a little bit creative as we come up towards Christmas. I know it's a bit late for doing presents itself, but I thought it's something that people can think about and maybe do for later on in the year, but also maybe can think about collecting information as well whilst they're talking to other people. So it's going to be based around signatures. So I don't know how many of you have got your family's signatures in part of your heirlooms, documents, papers, all sorts of different things, or have thought about all the different places that you might be able to find them. I'm quite fortunate. I've got family letters which people have signed, so those are part of it. I've got an old autograph book that I got my grandparents to sign many years ago, which is lovely to actually see their signatures on there. And I've got lots and lots of information there. And so I thought, right, I'm going to help people find them, find signatures in different places, whether that's in official documents, things like birth registrations. It could be marriage certificates. They seem to be the most common ones that people think of when they think about signatures. But there's more than just sometimes the people getting married. There are lots of witnesses. I found some with quite a few witnesses on, so I thought I'll bring those ones out and put them all together and thinking, well, what could you do with these things once you've actually found them? So I have an idea for a few projects of things that you might be able to create yourselves and then make into things if you want to.
Of course, projects is my happy place. And part of my story with respect to projects is it appalls me to just think of a one and done project that I made a pretty thing and I gave it away. I love that for a 5-year-old and a handprint on a piece of clay. And actually a handprint on a piece of clay is a treasure 30, 50 years later. But really thinking about the ways in which these projects can give you a link back to the stories and really using them as catnip, people knit, cousin nip to bring your siblings and cousins along and nephews and nieces along to go find the stories. You talked about tea towels, mugs,
Posters, all sorts of different
playing
things that
cards.
families do. You could do playing cards, all sorts of things. I think the idea is sort of thinking about, well, what have you got? And then if you want to, you can do themes within them. You could go down a particular family line or something. You could look for similarities in particular signatures or something, or you could look for people who've got the same name, for example. I could do an Emma. I wouldn't get very far with doing an Emma because there are only two Emma Coxes, but I could find other Emmas who'd signed, registered and done other things, and sort of how do different people write, and is it always spelt the same? And there's all sorts of ideas for different ones.
You did a fun episode earlier this year about Rosalinda and the Rosalinda and variations in your family line. And that's such a wonderful way to look at it. And now looking at it in signatures brings it alive.
And when I was looking through mine, I was amazed actually how many I found. And I was thinking, well, I don't have that many really. And, I've got a few marriage certificates here and there, the wills and letters. And then started looking, well, thinking, well, if I want to try and be consistent about it and actually think, okay, well, starting from a particular person, then maybe going back up 2 or 3 generations, how many of these can I actually find? Can I find each parent's signature? Did I actually find their marriage register entry or something, or was it another document that I found it on? And that's a fun piece of research in itself.
You know, it's a common expression in probably many fields in which engineers are part of it. But the expression is an engineer can't uh, do a thing; they have to solve a problem. And when you set up any challenge, I don't like challenges and prompts as it's generally described. But if you give me a project, give me a challenge, go find the signatures for each Emma Cox in a family line or each Rosalinda in the family line, or find as many signatures as you can of this family name. Boy, I'm off, right? It's like creating haiku that says, I don't care what else you want to do. Give me a poem of 17 syllables. And all of a sudden I've got a challenge. Now I know what to do. It gives
You've
me a
made me think
problem.
of something else actually,
Uh-huh.
whilst you were saying that, because we've been doing the 8 great grandparents or 16 three times great grandparents.
Right. Great example.
It's like, yeah, can you actually find the signatures of your 8 great grandparents?
That should be straightforward, right? 8 great grandparents is not that far off. It's just not that far off. Those documents should be what the eighth great grandparents, at least in my family, are roughly the mid 19th century, right? Generally, at least the ones I can think of offhand are born in 1860s. So, yeah, come on, man.
Actually, I was at a family party a couple of weeks ago, in between feeling not very well, not having water, and various other things going on in this country. And as part of it, there was various different generations. So my parents were there, so they're both in their 80s now, and luckily still with us, fingers crossed. And but the youngest ones were a few months old, and they
Hmm.
had lots of different generations there. And my cousins, some of them I know really well, other ones I don't know particularly well. And they were saying, well, how are we all related? And I said, well, okay, well, your dad and I are cousins, or your mum and I are cousins. So that means you and my niece and nephew are second cousins. And that means that's the next level down there. And then if you start thinking back to it, it's like they were third cousins, which is actually not that close a relationship, but
Right,
actually they know each other, they've met each other. And then going back and thinking, well, the person that they have in common is actually their 2 times great grandparent,
right,
which
right.
is my grandparents. And it's just that's a really close relationship when you start thinking about it.
Well, the flip side's also true. When you go back into history and you see that you are related to somebody important because they are a first cousin, okay, maybe 7 times removed, but just because of time. But, they're a first cousin, they're a second cousin, they're a third cousin. Would my direct ancestors have known them?
Mhm.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that really brings those kinds of connections together, right?
And it was nice that
Oh,
they were asking questions and that they were
yeah.
interested in it, and they're it's my cousin's children are now their children are having children, so they've got grandchildren, and so and quite a few more coming actually. I've got another couple coming in April with different lines, and it's lovely that they're actually more interested now, because it's like I think
Yeah.
it's been a bit abstract, and it's like, oh yes, there are all these,
Yeah.
well, how are we related, and sort of what information
Yeah.
have we got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my husband's family is from China, and his father is the first generation to have arrived here. His children, my husband's generation, are all largely born either here or in Canada. And because of that strong connection, it becomes a cultural connection. It becomes a way to celebrate culture, to have celebrations of things like Chinese New Year's and special celebrations like weddings and things like that. And as in our early married life, I remember being really astonished at how hard the family worked to make sure these events happened. As a consequence of that, of course, there was a lot of discussion about, wait a minute, how are we related? Who are you? The who are you is, yeah, Mr. Tien. But figuring out the connections of the family, it sort of makes that genealogy very much alive. And I realized that my family, my direct family did not have that muscle. I needed to go exercise that muscle without affording massive events that brought everybody together that I had to bankroll. But I could do that with letters. I could do that with, media. And that's what's led for me to things like, websites and shared archives and links and events and things like that that bring it together. But everything that then links back to that, from gifts and things that make it real, that you never know sometimes what these kids are going to hook into and get excited about.
Mm.
And wow, my signature looks a lot. My last name is also Cox. My signature looks a lot like theirs. Yeah, good stuff. So you've been taking a lot of these kinds of things forward, thinking back to this presentation and this past year. You've been playing with some ideas on where we're going to take this stuff next year. Can you give us any sneak peeks about that?
In terms of what I'm going to do for Emma Explores, I
Oh,
hadn't done a great deal of planning, to be quite honest. You and I have been discussing the January one, so I don't know whether you want to keep that under wraps or want to say anything for me.
I think it's okay to say something.
Well,
Nobody's listening.
I think it would be fun to actually do a bit of a review of some of the most popular episodes that we've had and get people interacting. So we're planning on doing a bit of a round table discussion with people. So if you're interested, do let us know. And just to see if we can talk about some of the subjects, what people particularly like, and what people have learned from it, if people have used some of the information that I shared, some of the sources, that sort of thing, and made interesting discoveries of their own.
Yeah, I think that'll be a lot of fun, especially as we all gear up and head into the Roots Tech season. I think of it as a whole season of hoo-ha, and I have, as we've discussed, some fun things coming. You can, since we're all a little secret club here and nobody else knows about it, um, I'll be working on something to share about relativefinder.org. So if that is interesting to you, feel free to reach out to me on Substack is the easiest way to reach me, or projectkin.org at Gmail. And I'll let you in on the insider club, because as you taught me, the most recent common ancestor does suddenly make you realize how much, going back to your point about we are share your third cousins share that second great grandparent. It suddenly makes you realize how connected you really are to those ancestors. In chatting up on Relative Finder with Aaron Hoover, um, I'll reach out to you, Aaron, talking about connections with our Gilbert family line, which is the family line where I had a connection in with one of the first women who was hanged as a witch in Connecticut in the 1650s. And then with, I think it's I can't remember who it is that. Deborah Carl, maybe a connection with Tristram Coffin, whom I have written about in a recent post, and then leads to the connection at Nantucket, which immediately left my husband thinking about limericks, because if you're talking about Nantucket, what can I say? Limericks come to mind. So back to poetry, right?
Mm.
All about framing the project, all about framing the challenge and walking through it. Which is why I love your thematic approach in Emma Explores, and now talking about family trees, and family trees in the context of signatures. How is this signature related to that signature, and how do we get there from here?
It's going to be fun.
Hey, Lisa, welcome. Lovely to see you join us. So we're just walking through a little bit, talking about with Emma Cox of Projectkin's Emma Explores, a little bit about our upcoming episode on Thursday, focusing on signatures and the signatures where we find them and what we can do with them when we've found them and what that tells us, and how the signatures are a lot more accessible than you might think, and often, I guess, more accessible than photographs, particularly for people who are go back in history before the advent of cameras in the mid 19th century.
Well,
Um,
maybe I can set a little challenge for everybody then. So, for anybody who's going to come along on Thursday, maybe you can have a go and see how many family signatures you can actually find. So, can you find, for example, your grandparents' signatures, all four grandparents? And can you go back and do your great grandparents?
do we want to just set it up as the classic genealogy community on Substack? In my view, a real important part of starting all of that was going in and looking at the my 16s, my 8s, my 16s. That is to say, who were your eighth, your eight great grandparents? Who were your eight 2x or 16 2x great grandparents? And the idea there was to see how many of us actually might recognize family lines and how we might directly be connected, which, by the way, relativefinder.org makes it a whole lot easier to go back a lot further than that if you have your stuff in family search. Um, but do you want to set it up as a challenge? Make it easy, an easy challenge. Nobody has to even publish it, but just go see if you can find your eight great grandparents. I can think
I,
of a couple.
I was saying, start with your grandparents.
Okay, that's
Start with
easy.
an easy
Thank you.
one.
I like it.
Start with
I
a
like a
really
softball.
easy one, and
All
then
right.
if you can, go back a generation.
And if you're lucky enough to have your grandparents handy, take a moment and go ask them to sign something. Christmas cards. Actually,
Definitely.
yes, greeting
No,
cards.
get
Paula,
create an autograph book. Create an autograph book for everybody. You have your current relatives. Get as many of them as possible to sign it.
there you go. There you go. And then there's all those greeting cards. Collins, again, who did our post about postcards, knocked it out of the park on that one. Chimes in with mom, kept all her greeting cards from the 1940s to 2000s. Wow. And grandparents are all in that. All right, Paula, we're going to be expecting you to step up to the plate. You got to come on Thursday. You're going to be our rock star. You're always our rock star, of course, but I look forward to seeing what you've got. I can't say that done so well on that, but I gotta go look. I was
You
focused
may
on
surprise
birth
yourself.
certificate.
You may
Um,
find you have more than you expect.
yeah. Well, that's what we're here for, is how to surprise yourself. We like projects where we succeed. It's always a good thing. And why it's always good to practice a little bit. Start with something small, see if you can test out what makes it fun, and then go focus on the fun part and do more of that. Um, yeah, it's
Little mini projects is fun. Try
little
try
mini
doing
projects.
something and see how you get on and see what inspires you to go and look at next. It
And you
might
know
be
what?
then if you've started, how many signatures of a particular person can you collect from lots and lots of different documents?
Right, right, exactly. I
And are
think,
they the same?
yeah. How much did the signature change? That would be really interesting among younger generations today that don't have a lot of occasion to write, like don't write their papers out longhand. Remember that? Um, and there's all this grousing about how the kids today can't write cursive. They can't read cursive. Okay, blah, 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 leaving that aside. Do the kids' signatures, do they have a consistent signature on pen and paper? I would bet not as much. I mean, I learned my signature writing checks at the grocery store. And I certainly don't do that anymore.
But
Uh,
is your signature the same as you were when you were a teenager?
oh,
I've
of
got
course
old
not.
things for my signature, and it's like very fancy, and it's like thinking, no, I don't do anything like that anymore.
Yeah, it's a secret code from the children. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right, Paula. I think I vote for clever kids who got through Montessori elementary school who are taught to write in cursive before they earn the right to use a fountain pen, which social pressure works really well to get little kids to learn how to write cursive. But others who have not and have since then been writing and just even signatures, man, signing on a tablet thing, just not the same. Just you may as well make an X. You were
Well, I
telling me, huh?
was going to say sometimes you have to sign something when that you get a delivery, and you have to
Right.
actually use your finger and doing it on that is just weird.
That's
Nothing
what I'm
like my
saying.
signature. Yeah.
Nothing like my signature, and it may as well be an X. It doesn't
Mm.
matter because all they have to do is get it's like a thumbs up. It doesn't really need much. Um, but where was I going? It's taking these kinds of, what I was thinking about was I wonder how much signatures change. And certainly you go back to high school or something, you're still defining yourself. And many women change their name. Many women didn't, or change their name in some way with hyphenation, or you change your name as a result of any number of things. And how much does your signature change? I consistently used my middle name in my signature in that check writing experience that gave me the foundation of my signature. And today I rarely use my middle name, and yet my signature includes it in some ways. That's how I know it's actually me. My kids got good at faking my signature. That's probably where kids learn how to sign. Or maybe that's just a 90s thing. I know my kids got good at faking signatures in high school because they had to. Yeah, mom said it's okay for me to do X. Um, I shouldn't admit that. Welcome, welcome, Dr. Mary. Good to see you joining us. Benji, I think I missed you joining in. Always welcome, always lovely to see all of you join us. It means a lot as we do these live streams, thrashing around and just, oh, thank you for all those hearts, chatting amongst ourselves. The fun thing for those of you joining us late, we're talking about today is Thursday's program, Thursday that is here in the Americas and Europe before time changes. And when you jump the daylight savings or jump the international date line in the Pacific, to the wee hours of the morning in New Zealand and Australia. But we will be in Emma Explores talking about the subject of signatures and how to connect them with who these people were and how to explore them, and also how to use them in ways that we might use them as photographs for remembrances and creating artifacts of our own for our generation that might help others get excited in about the generations that follow. Because at least that's my secret plan. Is that your secret plan?
I think so. Sounds good.
Well, I want to thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today. I know it's an odd time. It was an odd time as we help Emma dodge the virus. And I want to keep this a little short today so that she gets a chance to breathe, as respiratory viruses can be so nasty, and get her up and healing ahead of our program on Thursday, which, by the way, will be our last program for the calendar year. And our a little bit there you go, nice little feel better, and not explicitly about the holidays, but will help us to prepare as we start looking ahead to the new year and reflect a little bit on the amazing accomplishments, learnings, and perspectives gained during this past calendar year. I think there's a wonderful tradition of close out and open up that happens between the end of a year and the beginning of a new year. And from all our previous, oh, that's okay, Mary, and all our previous events in the last couple of weeks, you'll notice my Christmas tree here. I turned our cat tree into a Christmas tree because we're not going to be around for Christmas itself here. So we have a little entertainment for our cats because that's just how we roll. Uh, Lots of lurgy.
Lurgy, lurgy,
Lurgy. Talk to me about lurgy.
lurgy's being ill.
Oh, see, we learn
Lurgy.
something new every day. Wow. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you,
I
Lisa.
appreciate a translator too. Oh, somewhere we need a Projectkin's guide to the English language.
Or a translation thing. It's like, if you say this, this means this. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there
Dictionary.
you go. Oh, Bill, you just joined us. We're just wrapping up. Lovely to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us as always. We just got a good lesson on Duolingo. My screenshots over. There we go. Dual US UK citizen. Thank you. I was just thinking of Duolingo for English speakers. And to be clear, that's as much between Britain and the United States, our respective hometowns, as it is across Canada, Britain, and New Zealand, where in our mind there is a crazy American thing, and then all of the rest of you, which must be the same. But that's not true. Oh, now you see Bill is bringing the Christmas spirit up to his elbows in Christmas cookies. Shall we all send you our addresses, Bill?
Please.
Oh, in some of my last episodes, we were sharing recipes because it always comes down to food. So, whether it's Kyla Bayang's popcorn balls to Christmas cookies and more, you'll have to check out those last episodes. We're going to take as a challenge for Thursday and in signatures to bringing holiday joy to you, Emma, in the land of Victorian Christmases, if I may say. And we have this vivid imagination of what Britain is in Christmas, just saying. And so we will all share that Christmas joy and help getting you into the Christmas spirit to get there from here. And you can share with us the challenges or not of going forward that you've had lately around the house, not the least of which is illness, which we do wish you the very best and a speedy recovery
Thank you.
for Thursday.
Thank
Okay.
you. See you on Thursday then.
See you on Thursday. Thank you, everyone, so much for
Bye,
joining.
everyone.
It was great to see you. Thank you. Remember, you have a challenge here in case you missed it. Emma has thrown out the challenge, thrown out the gauntlet, and the goal by Thursday is see how many of your eight eight great grandparents' signatures you can collect. Bonus points for more than one for any given grandparents. I see you, Paula Collins. I know you're gonna blow it away, but we all can step up to the challenge. Alrighty then. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
See you on Thursday.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.